Welcome to today's video. We are going to do a review of the Mix2Mold sealants. Here I have two different sealants. The first one is a matte sealant. It's a really nice company, Mix2Mold. Their brand is really good. So in this matte sealant, you get a sealant that looks kind of like this. It should be a very liquidy consistency. You have to beware because if you buy a old sealant, it will come out kind of puffy and a little bit more heavier. So when it's liquidy like this, that means it's good quality and it's good to use. So the second one is the gloss sealer. The gloss one adds a little bit of sheen. So I have a mold here that I'm going to use. It's Sailor Moon. And I have two smaller molds. The Sailor Moon mold, I'm going to use the gloss sealant. The smaller molds, I'm going to use a matte sealant. So to fill these molds, I'm using the Mix2Mold Ceramic Resin. You could use concrete, you could use something different, but this is what I'm going to use. And I'm going to follow the instructions on the back. I'm also going to try to use this Mix2Mold color, which comes in the pigment of yellow. So to start off, I'm taking the ceramic resin. I'm just going to follow the instructions on the back. And I think also if you're a pretty experienced artist with this type of supplies, you can follow your intuition. So if you're following your intuition, when you mix this ceramic resin with some water, you just want to make sure you get like a peanut butter consistency, enough where it flows, but it's not too thick or too thin. And so if you are following your intuition, add water little by little. Don't just rush it. Take your time because you don't want to have to do it twice. Once you're done mixing, you just add the ceramic resin to the molds that you want to use. Now, in order to get out the air bubbles, you can shake the mold a little bit so that the resin evenly covers the mold, but also so that any air bubbles that's trapped in there will pop. I'm going to mix more ceramic resin and I'm going to fill the rest of the molds. Once I filled the molds, according to the instructions on the back of the Mix2Mold ceramic resin packet, it says that the molds should dry for at least 60 minutes. So I'm just going to leave them to dry. So at this point, I'm going to add this pigment. I've used it before, and for some reason, the color yellow is really hard to to show after I mixed it. So I'm just going to pour the whole thing in and see if it works, because it is a very light pigment. So I ended up pouring the whole thing in and mixing it. If you are like me and you're going to use a pigment, maybe add the pigment in when the mixture is a little thick, because it's going to make the mixture more liquidy. Thankfully, my mixture was just thick enough that I didn't have to add too much to fix it, but add the pigment in before you fully mix the ceramic resin to a consistency of your liking. So once you're done, you're going to go ahead and add it into the mold. Personally, I don't like, this pigment just wasn't for me, but again, everyone's needs are different. So if you need a very light pigment, go for it. Again, the Mix2Mold brand is incredible. The workers who make this, the company and the workers who make this brand are so sweet. They are so kind. They are so generous, and their product is really good quality. And so my advice is to just buy as you need. So if you like a really light pigment on your ceramic projects, then this is for you. So I'm just spreading out the ceramic resin before I shake the silicone mold. I'm still going to give it a little bit of a shake, but the corners are very thin, and so I want the resin to go in the corners and kind of be a little bit less messy, because it's important for me to have a flat layer on the bottom of this tray so that when I put it on the table, it will sit. Here, I'm just adding the extra of what I have left over to the bottom of one of my molds so that it would kind of create this pattern of having two tones or colors. I'm going to apply the sealants now on all of my molds and let them dry. This is the finished result. I think it came out really good. I let them dry for a while, and the sealant looks good. It did leave a bit of a streak, but I guess maybe I can work on my brush strokes. It's very glossy. It's very shiny. I like it. It hasn't chipped too much. This is the matte one. I like the matte effect on it. I think it did a really good job, and that's the pigment. You see how light it is compared to the white ceramic resin, and this is the last one. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you.